Okay, we should be live. What's good, everybody? How we doing? What's good? How we doing? We all good? We all good? We should be live now, I'm pretty sure. We should be. Need to double check. Yes, we are live. Yo, what's good? I've always had glasses, do you? I just don't really wear them as much. Because you can always see the reflection. That's the main reason I don't really wear my glasses. I normally don't wear my glasses purely because of the reflection. So, my chain's annoying me. But yeah, how we all doing? Yeah, what's good? I'm doing okay, bro. I'm doing alright. I'm kind of just chilling. But yeah, no, I thought I'd come on and talk about the new game. Am I happy with it? Yeah, sure. Nah, I'm chill. I'm actually excited for it. I'm capping. I can't wait for it. It actually looks quite decent. Because it does seem to me that we're going back to the start. And as you can see if I pop it up on screen. It does genuinely seem like we are going back to the beginning. Because of the to see the future comment. So if I just turn off the music. Like, I'll be real. I've never liked the Mimic. But it's controversial to include this title at the start of everything, if that makes any sense. And if you wonder what I mean by that, it's like, do you know the way we're going back to the very start because of to see the future, sometimes you have to understand the past. So it's very clearly, it's set in 1979. I know that. It's set in 1979, which is before everything. That's the earliest I think we've gotten timeline in the series. So this is before absolutely everything. So this is more than likely going to be Fall Fest. Now, let's be real for a sec. That means the Mimic was there when, like, before Afton done anything. Which is a bold move. There's no way of saying that other than the fact that this is a bold move to include the Mimic from the very beginning. That's a bold move. And I don't know how it really works. Because how, like, does that mean that the sister location stuff, like, are we gonna see, like, the advancements in sister location? Because I swear sister location is set in, like, 2030, right? Something like that. Because I know Fnaf 3 is set in, like, 20-something, right? 2024, I think, 2023. And sister location is probably maybe 26, maybe 28, I don't know. But including the Mimic from the start of everything is a really bold move for me. And, honestly, if I'm being completely honest, I don't like the Mimic. I really don't like the Mimic just because of how it was introduced in Ruin. I found it to be so obvious. I was a one thing that I really hated about Ruin. Because I will always be honest with the chat, with everyone here. I don't like Five Nights at Freddy's Ruin. I don't like Ruin. I personally can't play it. I don't enjoy playing that DLC. And I loved it when I first played it. I absolutely adored it when I first played it. Vanessa, I think, was there when I originally streamed it. But when all of a sudden I come back to Ruin, I think it was 2 or 3 months later, I hated it. And I don't know exactly why. I think it might just be because of the lack of fear. But judging on the trailer they dropped for this game, it seems to me they're going back to the pure horror route, and I hope that's the case. Because for me, Security Breach and Ruin just are not scary. That is a huge issue. The VR games are terrifying, in my opinion. Like, I personally think the VR games are absolutely terrifying. But when it comes to the free roam FNAF games, I find them not scary whatsoever. You know, that sort of way? So for me, when it comes to Security Breach, I just hope this next game is scary. I just want it to be scary. Because this is a horror series. This isn't a drama series. I guess you could maybe clutch on a sci-fi series, but this at heart is a horror series. It has to be horrific. It has to be scary. So let's make the next game scary, please. And judging on whoever, like, a fear factor is very subjective. I know that. But you have to understand, if a vast majority of your fan base is not finding a game scary, that's an issue. That's a big issue. Like a big, big, big issue. And I will admit, the joy of creation is scarier than both of them. And I haven't even played it yet, because I know it's going to be more scary, because there's actual something about the joy of creation. The VR games are terrifying, obviously, because it's in VR. It's a whole new experience. I have a feeling Into the Pit is gonna cook. I have a really weird suspicion about Into the Pit because of the whole vibe of it. And Into the Pit definitely seems like it's gonna be one of them games where it's just gonna cook, and I'm really excited to play that one. But it's just the fact that, what's the next game we're getting as well? I saw it was the Mimic, and every single hope and dream I had absolutely crushed. No, you know what it is, right? I'm okay with it being the Mimic. I don't care. I do care a little bit. But I would rather them have called it the Secret of Fall Fest, or something to do with Fall Fest, because it's very clearly going to be doing to do with Fall Fest. But it's just, to me, this is just my opinion. And I said this a few months ago in stream when this whole thing was happening as well with Fall Fest, is when you go back to the past, you can mess up a lot of things. And when it comes to Five Nights at Freddy's, there is so much in there to where it's so complicated with the lore and all the timelines and stuff. If you go back to the start, you can mess up so much because of how much happens in the future. Like, all they have to do is mess up one thing, and then their whole conversation will be, but how this happens in this location, this happens in Security Breach, this happens in FNAF 4. Like, you can mess up a lot. So that's why I'm really, really, really scared of what they're going to do here. And obviously, I would have rather them go back to Fredbear's. But this technically is kind of going back to Fredbear's. Because if it's Fall Fest, it is during Fredbear's kind of, like, go ahead, really. Because obviously, Fredbear's, the buy happened in 83, so by then I'd say Fredbear's was open by maybe 81. So we probably might get a look at Fredbear's. But the question is, are we going to get a look at Afton? Our first official look of what he actually looked like? Are we going to get Henry? That's a really good question. Are we going to get anything to do with the Afton family, like his wife and what happens? Are we going to get anything to, like, kind of lead Afton as an actual character? Because when you think of it, we don't know Afton at all, other than the movie and the books. We don't know anything to do with him in the games. When you put that into perspective as the main villain, it's a bit of an issue. So, I mean, I feel like a Fredbear's game would be boring because in Fredbear's there are no possessed characters. I could understand that, but you could just bring in Spring Bonnie, and it's a whole different experience. And I feel like that will not only, like, appeal to the new fans, but bro, imagine someone who hasn't played FNAF since it was like, let's say, like, they watched the movie, they were like, oh cool, this is sick. Imagine you got a free roam game where Spring Bonnie is going to be the one chasing you, and that's what we're getting in Into the Pit, yes, but that's obviously like a 8-bit game, whatever it is, but you know what I mean. But when it comes to, like, an actual full-fledged AAA game of Fredbear's with Spring Bonnie and William Afton, and they're the main threat, there's something about that not only is it really exciting for everyone involved, it's the fact that there's so much stuff that can happen in that, you know what I mean? But this Secret of the Mimic is really exciting and worrying, purely because I'm really scared of how they're going to do the lore. Because I hate the story and lore of Security Breach and Ruin. I think it's the weakest part of the game by a mile. Don't get me wrong. You can say it's not scary, it's scary, whatever. The story in Security Breach is god-awful, and I don't care what anyone says. Vanny is the only interesting part of that story, and they messed her up instantly. And apparently Vanny's coming back somehow. No idea how they're going to do that. Good luck. Unless there's a clone, which, knowing FNAF, I'm pretty sure there is clones at some stage in the books. So I would not be surprised. But it's just, there's so much they can mess up here with the, like, going back to the start, and that it is kind of worrying for me. But I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say about it, because honestly, it's worrying, exciting, all bundled up into one. So I want to hear your guys' thoughts. Are we happy about the Mimic being involved since the very beginning? I'm not. I don't know why they've included that. That's a really bold move, if you ask me. But when it comes to the Mimic being involved from the start, bro, I don't know. Yeah, the Mimic takes place in 1979. See, the whole thing is, like, we've never known anything about Fredbear. So other than the bite happening and stuff, we know nothing. Other than the books and, like, other theories and stuff. So, technically, we have no idea. But they've been teasing Fall Fest ever since VR1. So, it's all building up to this. Like, Steel will have teased Fall Fest ever since the Halloween DLC of Help Wanted 1. So that is a long ass time. You know what I mean? So we were bound to get something to do with this Fall Fest. And there is multiple Fall Fests. I'm pretty sure there's a poster that had Fall Fest 74. So it's obviously an annual thing in universe, but when it comes to Fall Fest, it's really interesting, and I feel like we're gonna get those. I think I have a few figurines of them actually. I'm pretty sure this counts. I'm pretty sure we're gonna get these versions, like the circus versions of each original character. I know this is Balloon Foxy, but I'm pretty sure he's a part of the same set. I think, but it does look like we're gonna get a look at the circus toys and stuff like that. So that's interesting. Also, who else thinks the Mimic thing is the box looks security puppet? I mean, the puppet music plays in the trailer. If you listen very closely in the trailer, the puppet music plays while the Mimic is in the box. Even if that is the Mimic, I'm assuming it is. But the story says that Edwin bought the factory in the early 70s, so 1974. Bro, is it bad that I don't even know who Edwin is? Who's Edwin? Is that bad? But yeah, no. 74 was like the last thing, like the earliest thing I remember. If that makes any sense. Like I do remember that Fall Fest like obviously happening, but I think the earliest year I remember Fall Fest was 74. I think. So is that OG Mimic or OG Puppet? I think it's the Mimic, and I don't like how the Mimic's OG now. Like I don't understand. Like lore wise it's gonna be so confusing. And I know FNAF lore is confusing as is, but when it comes to it's messing with the original lore is super scary for me. That's so scary for me, dude. You know what I mean? I just want it to be better than Security Breach. Just be better than Security Breach and be way better than Ruin, and I'll be happy. And 1 year later, Fiona dies, David is born in 1973, he's dead of Fazbear Entertainment. Bob's Company 78. Yeah, I know this game is taking place in 79. I know that. Edwin's the... Oh, right. Edwin's the creator of the Mimic. See, this is the whole thing with the book lore, you know what I mean? Like, it's like with it's like with Marvel. Do you know the way with Marvel had the whole thing with the Disney Plus shows where all of a sudden you had to watch some of the shows to know what's going on in the movies? Absolute BS, by the way. I hate that. That's the one thing I really don't like is when you have to read something or have another knowledge of something else to understand the mainline stuff. I hate that. Because, let's say, really, really off topic, but let's say someone, like, just has no access to reading. Like, they don't read or they don't want to read. That isolates them from key factors of the lore. Really key factors. And I know you could say I was watching a YouTube video, but still that's not the same. Like, do you know the whole thing with the bite of 83 when that first, like, when FNAF 4 first came out and you just beat the game and you get that like, you just beat FNAF 4 and you got the bite of 83 without seeing anything else. That surprise, remember that feeling. That's a crazy feeling. But now all of a sudden, when you're playing Ruin and you get down to the bottom of the Pizzaplex and you're like, oh my god, hold on, I thought it was going to be Circus Baby. I was like, oh, hold on, it would make sense considering it's in the FNAF 6 location. But no, this random endoskeleton starts running at you and you're kind of, and I was thinking, what the hell is that? Like, I had no idea what it was. Because I'm like, why is an endoskeleton down here? Why the hell would I care so much about an endoskeleton? Oh no, it's a scary endoskeleton. We've never seen that before. Instead of a massive circus baby running at me going, oh my god, circus baby's back, what the hell? But no, random endoskeleton. So for me, that's what ruined for me. Is the fact that this random endoskeleton was the main villain of it all. But if I had read the book, which I do have, I only bought it like a few weeks ago though, it's the fact that all of a sudden I had to know that this random character, an endoskeleton, existed in the books, that I haven't read any of them, and I'm like, oh, so how was I supposed to know that character even existed? You know, that sort of way, and I just find that so annoying. Like, I'd rather just explain it in the games and do it there. Keep the books separate. You know, that sort of way. I swear they'd originally say you'd never have to read the books to understand the games. That's what I thought as well. But apparently with the Pizzaplex games, or the Pizzaplex books, it's completely different, which is BS, by the way, because I swear there's a shark. There's a shark in the Pizzaplex books, I swear. So how does that make any sense whatsoever? It's just bullshit. But I'm going on a rant. But anyways. Matt Pat cursed the word parallel. William made Fazbear Entertainment, not Henry. Henry made a restaurant with mediocre melodies, no GG. Yeah, I know that. I know Henry and like Henry doing all of the elephant and stuff like that. What was his name again? Orville. What a goat. I think so anyway, right? Is that canon? I mean, that's what I heard. I don't know the facts, obviously. I've gone off recent FNAF lore. Fright literally says Henry and Afton are co-founders of Fazbear Entertainment. Yeah, that's what I thought as well. I don't know. I'm reading comments. I'm like, I don't know. But I remember hearing that Henry done the mediocre melodies, but I don't know. I don't know if that's true or not. I have no idea. But then I got like, I don't know. I don't know. But does anyone else like I hope that makes sense. I hope it just doesn't sound like I'm just shitting on the game when it's not even out yet. I'm just being my honest first thoughts of like the Mimic as a whole, because I just don't like the character. I feel that it's cheap. I feel the whole Mimic character, even though it's not overdone in games, it's so common. How many movies and stuff have you had stuff like mimicking something to lure someone out? You have Pennywise doing it in It. You had Art the Clown doing it in Terrifier 2. You have, obviously, Vita Carni's with the Mimic character. You have so many instances of horror, especially like on YouTube, because if you play FNAF, you're more than likely going to watch some sort of analog horror before. So the fact that like we're getting all this stuff about the like a new character, a new villain, and it's this random thing that just mimics voices, like come on, like it's so like, in my opinion, he's a really bland character. Like, wow, he's ripping people apart. Show me then. Show me he's ripping people apart so I can actually think, here, this dude's badass. So, and I hope this game shows it. I really do. Because, my god, the Mimic in Ruin, most mid thing I've ever seen in my life. What do you think a sequel to the book of Lonely Freddy would look like? I'd be intrigued. I mean, Lonely Freddy is one of them books that, like, I feel that I really like Lonely Freddy. I really like the Fazbear books. Or the Fazbear Fright books, yeah. I think they're really awesome, so I wouldn't rather really have an idea how a sequel to that one would look, though. Excuse me. But yeah, nah. I mean, I'm really interested to see what goes down, you know? But I don't like the Mimic. I really don't. I don't know. It might just be because I don't like Ruin. That honestly might just be the case. It might just be because I don't like Ruin. But am I the only person who doesn't like Ruin, by the way? I heard Ruin is really well renowned to be quite good within everyone's opinion. And I feel like I'm the only one who actually doesn't like it. And I feel bad when I say I don't like it, because obviously it's like, it's still FNAF. But it's just my own opinion. I've never been really big on Ruin. Like, I remember whenever we done the FNAF marathons, I would always dread having to play Ruin. And I don't, like, the thing is, if you were to ask me why I didn't like it, it would just be because it was meant to be this super scary version of the FNAF game, like, of Security Breach, basically, and it just wasn't. and it was more tedious than anything. I thought the story was god awful as well because you could predict it before the game even came out. Because realistically, if you had read the book of the Mimic, if you had read it, I just kicked my face cam by accident. Whoops. If you had read the story of the Mimic, you already knew Ruin, you know. And I feel that's really like, what's the point then, you know? Like other than like being right, like other than finding out, oh, I was right the whole time. Excuse me. But yeah, in about, by the way, in 15 minutes we're gonna be live streaming the Joy Creation. So make sure to tune in over on the next stream for that. By the way, so we'll be live here for maybe like 5 minutes, something like that. It's just a little discussion. I have to say though, next year is gonna be crazy for FNAF anyway. Have to say. I mean, what we'll get this game probably at the end of the year. December would be my guess, knowing Steelwool. We have the Dead by Daylight collab in summer. We have obviously the movie in December as well. So that's mental. I mean, actually, maybe the game might come out in October then. I mean, they might do this in October. Yeah. Yeah, actually, no, that would be my guess. I reckon this game will come out in October. Have a 2 month cycle for the movie, and then it will continue from there. That would make sense. Because we'll probably get the Dead by Daylight in July. I mean, August, September, October, new game, November, December. You know. So we'll see what happens. I'm really intrigued to see what this game has in store. I mean, the clown animatronic dude, this thing, looks super cool. Looks actually creepy. I'm assuming that's the Mimic wearing something. I'm assuming. I don't know. But judging on the fact that you can get a Ruin ending where it's wearing a suit, I'm assuming that's the Mimic. That looks badass. I like that. I like that a lot. It reminds me of Clown. It looks like a very clown thing and stuff like that. So, you know. The most plausible theories are Stitchline games and Tales games to understand the lore. They are clearly on game's continuity. Fair enough. But the thing is, like, I don't know. We'll genuinely. It's a new original nightmare, according to Steelwool. Now, by nightmare, do they mean a nightmare for like 7-year-olds, or meaning like a nightmare for everybody? You know, sort of way. I don't know. Because Ruin, I mean, I don't remember at any point getting scared during Ruin. I don't know. I think the only time I ever was like, oh god, was the endoskeleton part, and that's purely just because I knew it would take me ages. You know what I mean? But I don't know. We'll see how this next game goes. I hope it's good. I pray it's good, because honestly, the last we have 4 Steelwool games, 2 of them being VR, and I would play the VR games endlessly if my eyes weren't awful. So when it comes to the VR games, absolutely love them. Would not change them for the world. In my opinion, the VR Help Wanted 1 is one of my favorite games in the series, if not my favorite. But then we have Security Breach, which was okay at best. It was really good when I first played it. Absolutely adored it. Got every ending, all that sort of stuff. That was so much fun. Didn't age great, I'll be honest. I think Security Breach is probably the most aged game of the lot, if it's not for the original. But the original is obviously going to age the worst because it's the original. Every game, normally, the original ages the worst. But for me, I feel like Security Breach hasn't aged that well. Ruin, again, that's my opinion. I didn't like it, but hey ho, I could go back and play it and I might enjoy it. I highly doubt it. But I just hope that in my opinion, it's 2-2 for Steelwool. Honestly, I'd actually say 2-1 and 1. For like 2 games being really good with the 2 VR games, an okay game in Security Breach, and a not great game in Ruin. So, I mean, I'll be really interested to see how this one does. I hope it's good. I hope it's another one added to the good games in Steelwool. I have faith it will be good because they have basically, in my opinion, about a year and a half to actually get it done. So I would not be surprised. It seems they have a lot of it done as well. Considering they have all this done and everything like that, so we never know. Excuse me. I just hope that it's scary. It doesn't mess up the lore, because going back to the start, as I said, is a huge risk. But hey ho, you have to take risks. I hope the story's really good. I hope it's just, the one thing I want is just make it scary. Make me enjoy the Mimic as a character. Because you can have a really bland villain, but if that character or villain is a badass, I will like them. You know, that sort of way. Let me see the Mimic go and destroy a few people. Let me see that. I don't want to be told, oh, the Mimic killed 20 people. Okay. I could have read the book and said that same thing and I wouldn't have had any more effect on me. So, I want to see the Mimic kill. I want to see it kill people. I want to show me that this original nightmare is a nightmare. Show me that it's scary and that it's something I should be actually scared to actually see. You know, that's what I think I said actually about 4 times in that sentence. But I just want to see something that can genuinely scare me and give me a sense of, oh my god, get away from me. That's what I want to see. Give me the first feeling I had about Moon with the Mimic. The Moon in Security Breach is by far the best part of the game. The daycare, best part of the game by a mile. And it's within like the first 15 minutes. So, you know. But anyways, I'm going to leave to that stream there because I feel like we've had a nice 25-minute conversation about this game. I will probably have a video on it later on as well. But I'm going to get ready because we are streaming the Joy Creation now in about 10 minutes, 10-15 minutes or so. I'm going to go grab a drink and I will be right back. I appreciate everyone tuning in for today's little chat. So I will see you all then. Definitely go tune over to the Joy Creation because that is where I'm probably going to rage a lot. I will admit I'm going to rage because the Joy Creation is not a fun game for me because I'm really bad at games, fun fact. But I will check you all in a bit. Have the most amazing day. I'll check you out in 10 minutes or so, so definitely come back and stay tuned.